It was a Saturday night, and I was hanging out at the bar with my friends, having a great time. We were all talking about how our lives have been since we last saw each other a few years ago. They all told me how they got some boring, good-paying jobs, but I'm right where I want to be at. I do photography and fell in love with it when I was a kid. It took me a few years to get above average pay, which was a pain, but I still love what I do. We all exchanged numbers later that night and left. Walking to my car, I got a text from my boss about a new project he wants me to do. The theme was nature, and I was lucky since my house is right next to a forest. I responded that I was down to do this project. It was really late at night, around 2 a.m., and I decided to go into my backyard and see where I will be going tomorrow. Draco, my 4-year-old lab, was barking and whining to go outside. I got some food for him and I so we could relax in the backyard. I was on my phone scrolling through my social media apps, minding my own business, until Draco began to viciously bark towards the woods. "Draco, come over here," I yelled out. He ran back towards me quick as a rabbit. I could tell he was in fear of what he had seen. I began to comfort him and investigated the woods to see if I could see what was scaring him. All I saw were 6 bright white dots looking towards me, but I couldn't make out what it was. It must have been the raccoons. They're always out by my house and the woods. I shouted out to the things to go away, but they did not budge. Draco and I went back inside, and I kept a close eye on the woods the whole way. We went to bed because it was late, and I had to see my boss in the afternoon. I woke up and looked around because I had an ugly sense that someone was watching me. I looked at Draco, and he had a dead stare looking at the window. I slowly turned my head towards the door to see the same bright white dots, but I could make out that they were eyes to some creature, not a raccoon, but something else. They slowly started to fade away into the darkness. I turned to the other side of my bed and saw them right in front of me. They looked like tall humans, but it was too dark to see any other details. They suddenly jumped at me, and that's when I woke up. This was all just a terrible nightmare. I brushed it off and went to go feed Draco some food before I left to see my boss. For some odd reason, Draco would just stare at the woods for a few good minutes, then just go back to laying down. I couldn't investigate because of time, so I left and made my way to work. My boss, Derek, told me to meet him by a coffee shop near my house so we could talk about what he wanted some pictures of. "I need you to get some good shots of our forest. I know you live in one basically, so this shouldn't be hard," he said with a chuckle. "Yes, sir. Just daytime pictures, correct?" I said, hoping he would agree with me. "Yes, but I need some nighttime photos as well," he said. "Great, now I have to go into the forest." I left and went to go get ready for the job. I had to stop at a store to get the right lens for this job in particular. Hopefully the nighttime shot can be quick because I don't feel safe going in there alone. By the time I found the right lens, it was already 5 p.m. and daytime began to fall into night. The sunset looked amazing, so I snapped a shot. On my way home, I was wondering how Draco was doing. I mean, why would he keep going to stare outside for a few minutes before laying down? Was there someone out there? Thoughts poured through my mind on the way there. I pulled up in fear that something bad had happened, so I rushed to my door in a hurry to see that everything was fine. Draco was sleeping, and it seemed as if everything was the same as I had left it. I let Draco go outside to use the restroom, and I went to take some shots of the forest before nighttime hit. I got a good 30 pictures in of just random things and decided to take good ones tomorrow with more sunlight. Since it was already nighttime, I decided to take the night pictures today to get them over with. I had a fear of stepping in the woods ever since I had that nightmare last night, but it was my job and I needed to get it done quickly. I went back to the house to let Draco inside and to get my other lens for the night shots. It was 8 p.m. and the light of the sun disappeared while night struck the sky. The stars were out and I had to get a good angle with the trees and have the stars in the background. I walked a little further and saw a trail leading down. I went over and noticed it led to a massive cave. It was dark and the only source of light that I had was the flashlight from my phone. I flashed over the cave to see if I could see anything. Before I went inside, I wanted to look around first. Maybe someone knew about this because there tends to be a lot of campers that come here. I went down the main trail to ask someone if they knew about the cave or not. I knew for sure this one man had to know because I see him around here every day. While I was walking away, I heard the sound of something moving inside the cave. It sounded as if it was getting closer and trying to leave the cave. I did not want to know what was coming up from inside, so I ran down the trail to where the campers are normally. When I got there, I went up to the man I see every day. "Hey, I know you don't know me, but do you know about that cave back there down the trail?" I said to him out of breath, waiting for a response. "Hey man, calm down, bud. Why are you out of breath and what do you want to know about it for?" he asked, very confused. "I work for a photography company and I want to take some pictures inside there, but I heard something moving around. Do you know anything about it?" I asked him in a nice tone. "If you're going in there for some pictures, then you might as well take your death photo while you're at it," he said, seeming mad. I just shrugged and went back to the cave to take a few pictures and leave. On my way there, I tripped on something and fell over. I turned my flashlight on to see what I had stepped on. It was a large footprint. It had to be roughly 20 inches long. It led to the cave along with several other feet. I knew there was something big, and I had to get a picture of it. I made my way to the cave entrance and made my way inside. It was dark and silent. Just the beat of my heart echoed through the large cave. I took a single picture with flash on. I checked the picture and put the exposure up to see where the next entrance will be. I went to the opening on the right and took another picture and did the same as last time. When I checked the picture, I saw the bright white eyes, and when I put the exposure up, I could see humanoid figures standing there watching me. I looked into the darkness and they were standing right in front of me. I had to look up at them and I didn't move a single muscle. Something behind them fell down, the sound of rocks falling over. The eyes turned around and behind them were more bright white eyes popping out of nowhere. I went back from where I came from until I saw the dim light from outside. When I made it out, I ran straight to my house and called my boss immediately. I sent him the picture and he was in shock of what I got a hold of. I packed some stuff, got my dog, and left to my mom's house. Driving away, I turned back and in the distance, scattered were a spread of bright white eyes.